Hello there and welcome to the news at 6. I'm Tracy Shilshi, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you through the day's top stories and the developing ones as well. Let's start with the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation on New Year's Eve, expected to spell out the post-demonetisation roadmap. The Yadav family drama continues, with Akhilesh Yadav and Gopal Yadav being reinducted into the Samajwadi Party less than 24 hours after they were kicked out. BJP forms the government in Arunachal Pradesh after 33 PPA leaders led by CM Pema Khandu joined the party. PPA says its MLAs have been hijacked by the BJP. Anil Baijal takes oath as the 20th Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. The 1969 batch IAS officer says he will work together with the elected government. And General Bipin Rawat takes over as the next Chief of Army Staff, while Air Marshal Birender Singh Dhanoa takes charge as the next Air Force Chief, replacing Arup Raha. Starting with that big political story in Uttar Pradesh, Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav and his close aide Gopal Yadav were reinstalled in the Samajwadi Party on Saturday, less than 24 hours after being expelled for 6 years by Party Chief Singh Yadav. A truce was apparently reached between father and son after a strong show of strength at the Chief Minister's residence this morning, and also allegedly by an intervention by senior party minister Azam Khan, also an Akhilesh loyalist. Of course, yesterday we did see the dramatic statement by Singh Yadav, and today the reinstatement. What more can we expect? Is the battle really over? Are they going to be focusing on the elections now? Let's head on to Kriti Mishra, in fact, who's joining us now from Lucknow. Kriti, is this really the end of that rift, if you could say so? Are we going to see some more chapters unfold as the new year comes in?
Well, Tracy, ostensibly, peace has been restored between the warring sections of the Samajwadi Party here in Lucknow after a massive show of strength and support of MLAs. Party insiders say that Akhilesh Yadav approached his father, touched his feet and said that he will compromise and sacrifice everything, but will not tolerate goons and miscreants in the party. Now, experts here are divided over the issue. Now, there is a certain section that feels that the entire move was orchestrated just to establish the hegemony of Akhilesh Yadav, while there are others who feel that this was actually a power struggle between the old guard that has laid the cornerstone of the party and the chief minister. But after today's development, that is the revocation of suspension of Akhilesh Yadav and Gopal Yadav, many say that Akhilesh Yadav of 2016 is different from Akhilesh Yadav of 2012. Now, what assumes center stage right now is the emergency national convention convened by Gopal Yadav tomorrow at 11 a.m. here at Janmeshwar Mishra Park in Lucknow. Now, the party is expected to stage a united front, and many important announcements may also come through. Over to you, Tracy.
Absolutely. And if you could give us an idea, really, Kriti, how the events took place since yesterday when we saw the dramatic announcement by a father saying that he's expelling his son and, of course, his close aide Gopal Yadav away from the party for 6 years for anti-party activities. And within less than 24 hours, we're seeing, of course, the tide turn. Give us an idea of what really took place in that meeting. The kind of show of strength that Akhilesh and his supporting MLAs had shown, and also the intervention coming in from Azam Khan.
Well, the likes of Azam Khan and Lalu Prasad Yadav have taken the credit for brokering peace between the warring sections. Azam Khan intervened and said that the party has to win elections. Now, after less than 24 hours after he was expelled from the party, Akhilesh Yadav is learned to have met his father, discussed several issues. And in fact, after that meeting, Shipal Yadav came out and said that all contentious issues have been resolved, and the major contention, that is the ticket distribution, shall be discussed again. So now all of us, Tracy, are waiting for that emergency national convention that has been convened tomorrow. Maybe Akhilesh Yadav could be anointed further.
Absolutely. All right. Also, Kriti, give us an idea of the sense you're getting on the ground, especially for the voters. This definitely comes at a very wrong time, definitely for the Samajwadi Party. Maybe in a long term good for Akhilesh, but as far as the party's future is concerned in the election scene scenario, what are the voters on the ground saying? What are they seeing this as? Is it just mere drama, or are they actually seeing this as a real change within the Samajwadi Party?
Well, definitely within the party cadre, I think the vote could split if this feud continues. But the voters have been left really confused after this feud within the party, because there is a certain section that completely rallies behind Chief Minister. He's a young Chief Minister with several ideas, while there are several supporters of Mulayam Singh Yadav and also Shivpal Yadav. So voters are left confused. But as far as the other parties are concerned, BSP definitely is extremely confident and charged right now, and so is the BJP. And right now also, I'm outside 19 Vikramaditya Marg, which is the party office here at Lucknow. And you can see behind me, Tracy, if I can just show you, several supporters have come here. They've just gathered around. They're chanting slogans in favor of Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. So certainly, right now, the party cadre feels that everything would limp back to normalcy and the party would form government again in 2017.
Yes, and you were pointing out, Kriti, that Akhilesh Yadav of 2012, very different from the Akhilesh Yadav that we're seeing in 2016. I don't know if you can hear me because the chanting, of course, has begun. If you could, in fact, also give us a sense of what, the role Akhilesh is going to play further on, getting stronger within the party, as far as Mulayam saying, at some point has to slowly step back, and eventually the reins is definitely going to Akhilesh. That is the sense that one was getting, which, till about a few months back, Shivpal Yadav was definitely in the fray as well.
Well, Tracy, let me take you to 2012. We remember Akhilesh Yadav as young scion of the Samajwadi Party, who used to work under the shadow of Mulayam Singh Yadav, and he was supposedly influenced by the decisions of his uncles. But after today's development, certainly experts say that Akhilesh has come of his age. So let's see in future how things evolve for him, because certainly everybody is eyeing how this future course of action within the Samajwadi Party will take place, and that would shape the tone and tenor of the political discourse in the state of Uttar Pradesh.
Absolutely. All right, Kriti, thanks so much for joining us for the moment. Orchestrated move or not, this definitely dominated headlines yesterday and today as well. Here's a quick look at what went on this morning after that meeting, which eventually led to the reinstatement of Akhilesh Yadav and his close aide, Gopal Yadav.
It was yet another day of drama in the Samajwadi Party camp as UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav was reinstated into the party along with his close aide and uncle Gopal Yadav. The development came less than 24 hours after the two were expelled from the party for 6 years by Mulayam Singh Yadav. On an eventful day, a crowd of supporters gathered outside the Chief Minister's residence in a show of strength, forcing the parliamentary meet called by Mulayam Singh to be postponed. It was then that the intervention of Senior Minister Azam Khan led to a truce between Akhilesh Yadav and his father and party chief Mulayam Singh following a discussion at the latter's residence. Akhilesh's uncle and rival Shivpal Yadav was also present in the meeting.
मुझे आदेश मिला है कि अखिलेश यादव और श्री राम गोपाल जी को तत्काल प्रभाव से अभी बहाल किया जाता है और उनका निष्कासन रद्द किया जाता है और सभी हम सब लोग मिलकर के सांप्रदायिक ताकतों से सब लोग मिलकर के लड़ेंगे और पुनः उत्तर प्रदेश में समाजवादी पार्टी की पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बनाएंगे।
एक बाप का एक बेटे से क्या गिला हो सकता है? भाई इतना ही कि ये मुझसे मिला करें, मेरे राय मशवरों पर अमल किया करें, मेरी बात माना करें, तो वो भी तो उनके भले का ही मशवरा है। अपने लिए तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं कि मुझे एक सोफा ज्यादा डलवा दो। यही बातें ही बाद में शिवपाल जी को बुलाया गया क्योंकि उन्हें ही एक्शन विड्रॉल का डिक्लेरेशन करना था।
Earlier on Saturday morning, Akhilesh Yadav had convened a meeting of Samajwadi Party legislators where over 200 of the 229 party MLAs turned up expressing their loyalty, compared to only about 20 legislators who showed up for a meeting at Mulayam Singh's house. Party General Secretary Gopal Yadav, who has called an emergency national executive meet on Sunday, said that the meeting will be held irrespective of today's decision.
एक्सपल्सन तो कल हुआ था, फैसले हमारे उससे पहले हो गए थे। कल हमारा सम्मेलन हो रहा है विधिवत, पहले की तरह सम्मेलन होगा और सम्मेलन में जो सम्मेलन निर्णय लेना चाहेगा वो निर्णय लेगा।
The latest decision has given a sense of hope to party members ahead of the assembly polls.
अब हम सब मिलकर एक दूसरे से सहयोग करके मुलायम सिंह जी के संकल्प को, सपने को आने वाले चुनाव में समाजवादी पार्टी को भारी बहुमत से जिताकर समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार बना करके पूरा करेंगे। अखिलेश जी को, भाई राम गोपाल जी को और समाजवादी पार्टी के सभी लोगों को ढेरों बधाइयाँ।
I'm also very hopeful that Mr. Akhilesh Yadav will be the face of the Samajwadi Party in the 2017 elections. And he has shown his large-heartedness, and he has shown how he respects and reveres his father by going there for dialogue.
The opposition, however, continued its attack, saying the ruling party was misleading the people of the state.
मुद्दे से ध्यान भटकाने के लिए अखिलेश यादव की जो विफलताएं हैं, जो वादा खिलाफी है, जो विश्वासघात जनता के साथ किया है, उस पर चर्चा ना हो, क्योंकि अखिलेश यादव सूबे के मुख्यमंत्री के साथ साथ गृह मंत्री भी हैं और उत्तर प्रदेश में सबसे बड़ा चुनाव का मुख्य मुद्दा है उत्तर प्रदेश की बिगड़ती कानून व्यवस्था, उत्तर प्रदेश में गुंडई।
समाजवादी पार्टी, उसके मुखिया, उसके मुख्यमंत्री, ये सब उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता को मूर्ख बनाने के लिए और गुमराह करने के लिए रोज ड्रामा रचते रहते हैं।
Days of drama saw UP CM Akhilesh Yadav releasing his own list of candidates after his choices were ignored by Father Mulayam Singh. Sensing rebellion, the party chief then expelled his son as well as his cousin Ram Gopal Yadav from the party for 6 years on Friday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, with the beginning of a new year, Arunachal Pradesh is set to have a BJP government for the very first time. Pema Khandu's decision to walk out of the PPA with 32 MLAs into the BJP fold has left the current PPA government red-faced. The Chief Minister now says that circumstances have compelled the MLAs to take the decision in the interest of the people and the state.
आने वाला जो नया साल है वो अरुणाचल के लिए एक बहुत ही एक ब्लेसिंग होगा। नया साल, नया पार्टी और हमारे नरेंद्र मोदी साहब के साथ में विकास की ओर। Thank you.
The high-voltage drama in Arunachal Pradesh came to an expected end, with the BJP forming a full-fledged government. This happened after 33 of the 43 People's Party of Arunachal MLAs, led by Chief Minister Pema Khandu, joined the BJP. Assembly Speaker Tenzing Norbu Thongdok has accepted their joining.
विधायक more than 2/3 सब लोग ने डिसाइड किया कि हम लोग को अभी PPA पार्टी छोड़ के we should go along with Honorable Prime Minister of India और उनके पार्टी जो है भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ में।
The sudden decision of temporarily suspending Pema Khandu and 6 other legislators from the primary membership of PPA for alleged anti-party activities paved the way for him to enter the BJP's fold. The People's Party of Arunachal accused the BJP of hijacking its MLAs to form a government in the state.
दिल्ली से सारा सब कुछ क्लियर होके under the leadership of Pema Khandu, he will continue as the Chief Minister of BJP Sarkar in Arunachal Pradesh.
Our own regional party, but then national parties, taking away the MLAs. When can a regional party develop? Basically, the main problem is this: hobnobbing with BJP High Command and planning to desert the regional party from which they get elected. So we are really sad.
Arunachal Pradesh has been battling political instability since December last year, when Congress dissidents revolted against former Chief Minister Nabam Tuki. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, down south, Sasikala Natarajan, close friend and confidante of late Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha, formally took over as the General Secretary of the AIADMK on Saturday. While addressing party workers, Sasikala said that she will follow Jayalalitha's directions while leading the party. She also added that the party's cadre were its strength and expressed confidence that they will support her. Sasikala also broke down while speaking about Jayalalitha during her address. She was unanimously chosen to lead the AIADMK at a party meeting on Thursday. And here's what everyone's looking forward to this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation today at 7:30 p.m., a day after the 50-day deadline post-demonetisation ended on Friday. The Prime Minister is expected to spell out the post-demonetisation roadmap in his address. He may also speak on the steps to deal with the problems the economy faces after the note ban. In his public rallies, Modi has always pitched for a transition to a cashless economy as the next big step in his effort to ensure transparency and end corruption. This will be his second address to the nation since the announcement to scrap the 1,000 and 500 rupee notes on the 8th of November. Meanwhile, in a big relief to the common man, the Reserve Bank has raised the daily ATM withdrawal limit to 4,500 rupees per card effective starting the 1st of January. Till now, a withdrawal limit of 2,500 rupees had been set per card per day. However, there is no change in the weekly withdrawal limit, which stands at 24,000 rupees. Following demonetisation of all 500 and 1,000 rupee notes on the 8th of November, limits had been imposed on withdrawal of cash from banks as well as ATMs. On Friday, President Pranab Mukherjee gave his assent to the promulgation of an ordinance that makes holding of the scrapped 500 and 1,000 rupee notes beyond a specified limit a criminal offence.
रिस्ट्रिक्शन जो लगाया बैंक से खुद का पैसा नहीं निकाल सकते, इस पाबंदी को हटाओ। उन्होंने कहा 50 दिन के बाद होगा, लेकिन अब हटा नहीं। तो ये साफ है कि आम लोगों के परेशानियों को और ज्यादा उनके ऊपर ये आर्थिक जुल्म थोप रही है सरकार। और इसके विरोध में हम लोगों ने, वामपंथी पार्टियों ने तय किया कि जनवरी के अंदर एक व्यापक देशव्यापी जन विरोधी मतलब एक आंदोलन इसको छेड़ेंगे।
With that, a quick break here. More news follows in a bit. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritan Rai and you're watching Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha TV.
Doing one good deed, and giving a baby to somebody who's infertile, I don't think can be anything better.
Only people who really need surrogacy will be coming forward.
I think again the larger interest has been kept in mind, which are these poor women who are being exploited.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
Like two persons, they cannot have same fingerprints. Similarly, no two woods in the world can have the same structure. Our slogan is use more, grow more, because there is no material which can replace that wood. Latest work which the institute has done is wood polymer composites. Our purpose is to replace that plastic or reduce the use of plastic.
Watch Eureka with Dr. S.K. Sharma, Senior Scientist at Institute of Food Science and Technology on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. News from the national capital. And Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal says that he is hopeful the work have come to a complete standstill in the national capital. The works, in fact, that came to a complete standstill in national capital will be expedited under the new Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal. The 1969 batch IS officer took oath of office on Saturday.
I, Anil Baijal,
do swear in the name of God.
Former Home Secretary Anil Baijal was administered the oath of office by Delhi High Court Chief Justice G. Rohini on Saturday. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and his entire cabinet and senior bureaucrats from Delhi were in attendance. Soon after taking oath, Baijal said he would work together with the elected government of the city-state.
बहुत बड़ा दिल्ली is now a huge megapolis. इसकी problems इतनी ज़्यादा हैं, population इतनी है, area इतना है, congestion है, तो कहीं law and order, security, women's safety वगैरह वगैरह, फिर infrastructure, civic communities, you all know, हम लोग सब जानते हैं क्या problems हैं. तो उसको हल करने के लिए जो कुछ होगा भरसक प्रयत्न करेंगे, बैठकर प्रयत्न करेंगे, सबके साथ मिलकर.
A 1969 batch IAS officer, Baijal is the 20th Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, who was appointed to the post by President Pranab Mukherjee last week. The former bureaucrat has also been the Vice Chairman of the Delhi Development Authority and had headed key public sector companies like Prasar Bharati and Indian Airlines. Navvikram Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Speaking of new assignments, Lieutenant General Bipin Rawat has taken over as the 27th chief of the 1.3 million strong Indian Army, succeeding General Dalbir Singh Suhag. General Suhag retired on Saturday after 42 years of service. General Rawat superseded two senior-most Lieutenant Generals, Praveen Bakshi and PM Haris. However, Lieutenant General Bakshi, who heads the Eastern Command, announced full support to the new chief. Outgoing Chief General Suhag said that the army was prepared to meet any challenge as he thanked the government for providing a free hand and implementing the one rank, one pension scheme. Also, Air Marshal Birender Singh Dhanoa took oath as the 25th Air Force Chief, replacing Arup Raha. The new Indian Air Force Chief had developed the country's aerial targeting philosophy under potential adversaries and transformed the concept of air operations of the Air Force into contemporary war fighting practices. Earlier in the day, General Suhag and Air Chief Marshal Arup Raha paid tributes at Amar Jawan Jyoti and inspected the Guard of Honor. And here are more updates from across the country in Nationwide. The Union Home Ministry has cleared a proposal to add 15,000 more personnel to the Delhi Police, awaiting the Finance Ministry's nod. Home Minister Rajnath Singh made the announcement at a mega police event in the national capital, where ranks were awarded to 24 personnel out of the 27,000 promoted this year. The expansion will make the force nearly 1 lakh strong. Five convicts, including 4 serving life imprisonment, escaped from Buxar Central Jail late on Friday night after scaling the prison wall. The district magistrate said that iron rods, pipe and cloth have been found at the spot from where the prisoners scaled the wall. The DM said the responsibility would be fixed on erring jail officials after a probe. The superintendent of police admitted that security has been breached and the thick fog cover helped the convicts escape. Police arrested one person with new currency worth rupees 5.2 million in Gurugram in Haryana on Friday. Ever since Prime Minister Modi's demonetisation announcement, there have been several cases of people using ingenious ways to hide their unaccounted money from tax inspectors or converting older currency into legal tender. International news, and at least 28 people have died in the Iraqi capital of Baghdad in a double bombing claimed by the Islamic State. The explosions happened one after the other at the busy Al Sainak market. A roadside bomb exploded near a car spare parts shop, and then a suicide bomber detonated his device among the crowd that had gathered. More than 50 people were injured. The bombings by the Islamic State come at a time when the jihadist group is under pressure from an Iraqi army offensive further north in Mosul, the last major IS stronghold in the country. A US President-elect Donald Trump has praised Russian President Vladimir Putin as very smart after he refused to retaliate to the US, expelling 35 Russian diplomats. Putin, meanwhile, trolled the White House, saying that he awaited a more friendly administration on the horizon. The Obama administration had taken action against Russia, accusing it of interference in the 2016 US presidential election campaign.
US President-elect Donald Trump on Saturday praised Russian President Vladimir Putin, describing him as very smart. This after Putin refused to engage in a tit-for-tat diplomacy after the United States expelled 35 Russian diplomats amid a row over cyber hacking. While refusing a symmetrical response, Putin also said that he would not drop to the level of irresponsible diplomacy, adding his government would instead wait to see how relations developed under the incoming president Donald Trump.
Потому что, во-первых, эти санкции, скорее всего, продействуют или будут действовать в течение ближайших месяц-полтора, не более того. Скорее всего, новый президент.
In another snub to current US President Barack Obama, Putin congratulated President-elect Trump rather than Obama in his annual New Year's greetings to foreign heads of state and governments. However, he had conveyed his seasonal greetings to Obama, his family, and the American people in a separate statement earlier on Friday.
We consider these sanctions completely unsubstantiated, unreasonable, and very detrimental to the bilateral relations between two neighbors, between the United States of America and the Russian Federation. It's altogether 11 people
including 3 kids, and they have to pack and leave within hours. They were not given enough time to pack all their things and to prepare to finish their financial matters here in the United States and to live in an ordered way.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump has dismissed reports of Russian interference in the election, saying it was time for his country to move on to bigger and better things. It will be interesting to see how Trump calibrates his Russian policy when he enters the White House on 20th of January next year. He has previously been accused of a fawning attitude towards Putin. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are more international news updates in Global Buzz. Israel has warned its nationals traveling to India to be on alert during the New Year celebrations. The country's Counter-Terrorism Bureau issued the warning, citing an immediate threat of attack against Western and tourist targets, particularly in the southwest of the country. In addition, it recommended avoiding markets, festivals and crowded shopping areas. Pakistan has sought support of the US on the implementation of the Indus Waters Treaty with India. Pakistan Finance Minister Ishaq Dar spoke to US Secretary of State John Kerry over the phone and discussed the row over the treaty's implementation and the role of the World Bank. Pakistan has been irked by the World Bank's pause in mediation to resolve differences over construction of 2 water projects by India. Islamist terrorism is the biggest challenge facing Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel has said in her New Year message. Referring to the deadly truck attack in Berlin by a Tunisian asylum seeker, she said it was sickening when acts of terror were carried out by people who had themselves sought protection. The recent attacks in Germany have led to some criticism of Merkel's policy of admitting more than 1 million refugees and migrants in 2015. The US has slapped sanctions on 7 Pakistani entities associated with the country's missile program. US says the entities are acting contrary to the national security or foreign policy interests of the US. Pakistan has, however, denied any wrongdoing in connection with its nuclear or missile program. And finally, let's get you the latest updates from the world of sports in Sports Beat. Mumbai prodigy Kush Bhagat won all 3 gold medals on offer in the first Western Asia Youth Chess Championships in UAE. The second standard student reigned supreme in all 3 categories, rapid, blitz and standard, as he overcame the challenges from the 158 participants from 20 countries. Spain's Rafael Nadal edged past Canadian Milos Raonic to reach his 4th World Tennis Championship final in Abu Dhabi. The 14-time Grand Slam champion won the semi-final 6-1, 3-6, 6-3. In the other semi-final, world number 1 Andy Murray lost to David Goffin 6-7, 4-6. New Zealand defeated Bangladesh by 8 wickets in the 3rd and final ODI to sweep the series 3-0. Kane Williamson and Neil Broom produced the match-winning 179-run stand for the home side as they reached the target of 237 runs with a loss of just 2 wickets. Olympic athlete Mo Farah and world number 1 tennis star Andy Murray have been knighted in Queen Elizabeth II's New Year Honours list. 29-year-old Murray was previously named an Officer of the Order of the British Empire, or the OBE, in 2012 after becoming Olympic champion for the first time. That's all we have for you on the news at 6. Thanks for joining us.